Why do we eat our feelings? Nutritionalist counselor Dr. Iflin discusses the difference between emotional eating and physical hunger. Here's Elise.
Hi, I'm Elise Thurston. Today I will be interviewing nutritional counselor Dr. Joan Ifland, who specializes in emotional eating, food triggers, and the psychology behind binge eating. How are you, Dr. Ifland?
I am just delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I'm so excited to talk about this subject because I think that this is something a lot of people struggle with, especially after quarantine. For me, a lot of the people I know, many of us, we turn to food when we're under stress, when we're in fear, when maybe we're just bored, because it can give us this false sense of fullness. And I'm curious, what emotions would you say trigger food cravings the most? What emotions cause, which ones should we look out for?
Yes, and this is such a good question. Any strong emotion can trigger a reaction in the brain, which consists of hyperactivating the reward centers in the brain. And that means your brain just floods with cravings. When we're under stress, the brain will try to make us feel better by activating the reward centers, the pleasure centers, but that activates the addiction too. So this is not, it's just a mechanical action in the brain that is the result of a lot of addictive business practices related to processed foods.
And that's interesting that you say processed foods, because I find myself, and I think a lot of people, when we are craving foods, we go to these childhood comfort foods, these carbs. What would you say, what is it about these snacks? Why do we like snacks when we're emotionally eating?
This is a good point. So the snacks are addictive. They have been formulated to be addictive. They've been formulated to hyperactivate those reward centers so that we lose control and we are under the influence of those cravings. Mm-hmm. So we know things like sugar is more addictive than cocaine, and fats activate the same part of the brain as marijuana, and excessive salt and dairy have withdrawal syndromes that are just like drug withdrawal. So that we go to the processed foods the same way 50 years ago we went to cigarettes. When we were upset, we smoked a cigarette. Now the tobacco companies, with their addiction business model, they moved into processed foods in the mid-1980s. And you just have to say, what is the motivation of an addiction company to come into processed foods? Well, they saw an opportunity to create addiction.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that a lot of people, that we crave those cookies, we crave something to snack on. And so another thing that I think is really interesting about hunger is a lot of times we don't always recognize when we're physically hungry. Mm-hmm. We want to eat something, but maybe our bodies don't actually need food at that moment. Mm-hmm. So what are the signs to tell the difference between I'm just emotionally hungry right now or I actually need food right now?
This is such a good question. Cravings happen in the head, mm-hmm. and they are for these foods that we've been duped into thinking are foods, but they're actually drugs. If you're hungry, it happens in your stomach. Your stomach is right underneath the bottom of your ribs, and that's where you'll feel it. I would say that step one for distinguishing between cravings and hunger is to get the processed foods and the signaling, the messaging, the advertising, this food stimulation, get that out of your home, get that out of your workplace. Mm-hmm. Stop eating processed foods in the car. So get the cravings to stop, and then you will know that if you want to eat, it's hunger.
Okay, that's so basically, if we recognize, okay, I am an emotional eater, I do that, the biggest thing you recommend doing is to just cut out those processed foods. Start eating healthier, lean meats, chicken, vegetables.
Yeah, but people don't realize that cravings are not normal, because I know for myself, I went to kindergarten with cravings. I ate sugary breakfast cereal and dairy. I had milk and toast and jelly and margarine on it. And those were all addictive substances.
Mhm.
So I didn't know that it's possible for cravings to go away. But that is one of the greatest gifts of getting through withdrawal from the processed foods, is the cravings will stop, the obsession will stop. Kind of, you get your brain back, and it's wonderful. But you do have to kind of create a bubble of protection around yourself, because the food industry is quite intense. They're constantly trying to signal, constantly trying to activate that addiction and get you to lose control and eat things that you regret.
I'm very thankful that I got to speak with you today. I think
Thank you.
it's something a lot of people can take to heart.